Everybody. Thanks for coming. What do you think of my hat? It was inevitable that at least a few Soros operatives would be in the audience. Give my regards to George. Say hi to George for me.
Yeah, that's how normal people wave. Anyway, that's Elon Musk. And as always, he's here to make everything worse, and in such an ironic way there. So he's standing on stage at an event that's sole explicit purpose is to financially manipulate voters in advance of an important Wisconsin Supreme Court race. Okay, he is there personally as the richest man in the world to do this. He has chosen a candidate on one side and he is paying people in exchange for supporting his chosen candidate. And when he gets booed as one of the least popular people in America, maybe like on a Kanye level, the only way that his tiny, frail mind can make sense of that is, oh, nobody actually dislikes me, ignore the polls. It's paid protesters, yeah. And not just any paid protesters, they're paid by a Jewish billionaire. Yes, it must have been a Jewish billionaire that sent these people who to pretend to not like me, because you know those billionaires always meddling in politics as he stands on the stage preparing to hand over $1 million checks to manipulate the outcome of an election. And that's not all, we have more than that. But anyway, look, he's facing legal challenges for this because this is bribery. Every person with a pulse and a functioning brain knows that this is bribery intentionally. It is unfortunately, as of right now, bribery that our courts are letting proceed, perhaps because they like the bribery. But anyway, he had even tweeted in advance that he's gonna be giving a talk in Wisconsin. Oh, I bet it was compelling. I bet it was just the great, most charismatic speech. Entrance is limited to those who voted in the Supreme Court election. So he is making it very clear you have to have voted and be able to stomach me. Gee, I wonder who they voted for. And he's gonna hand over 2 checks in appreciation for you taking the time to vote. This is super important. I think he meant illegal, but he wrote important anyway. And so he handed out the checks, and we'll return to those. But that's not the only thing he's doing, by the way. He goes on to tweet, you can make over $1,000 in one day just by getting the vote out. You don't even need to be from Wisconsin. I mean, he's not, and he's trying to affect the outcome of the election. You just need to get people in the state to hold a picture of the candidate that he wants. Can be on a phone, device, or paper in one hand and go thumbs up with the other hand. Yeah, do a thumbs up gesture. Don't do other gestures that he's recently popularized. Anyway, every time you do that, you get $20 and they get $20. The goal is to build awareness about the election tomorrow. So this offer applies to today and tomorrow. So all of that stuff about, no, this is like for signing a petition about activist judges. We're way past that. This is for the election. I'm gonna pay you, I'm gonna pay them, elect the candidate you are holding up. There has never been more obvious bribery in American history. Now, some of it appears to be fairly dishonest because he told people in that crowd he's gonna be handing it out randomly, but that's not what he did. In fact, he gave one of the checks to the chair of the state's college Republicans, randomly, I bet. It was an incredibly well-connected Republican that ended up getting the money. But this is what he's doing, JR, yet again, okay? And we can expect this in more and more elections. He's certainly got the money. He definitely has the time because he doesn't need to spend any of it with his companies or his children. And so this is just the new status quo, and nobody seems to be willing to do anything to stop it.
I don't know why. It's okay. I know there's been talk going around about people that were frustrated about how weak and fealty, the kind of fealty that Democrats have been pushing. Or they'll say one thing, they'll call them a fascist. They'll say that we have to stop this, and then they won't do anything about it. It's a similar. We see it directly in front of us. There needs to be the kinds of measures taken outside of waiting for some oversight committee hearing, and then sitting there and debating, and then making a really good point that really blows up on Instagram or TikTok or Threads. Oh man, it really blew up. And you see that Democrat stick it to them. Yeah, he stuck it to them and they went, yeah, we know. Okay, so let's keep doing it. Like they don't care. They don't care that they've been called out. As you talked about, the direct, blatant nature of this kinds of bribery for votes for one particular candidate because he wants them to, and all he has to do is say George Soros, and they all go, "Whoa!" It doesn't matter how great of a point you make. The points will be made so you can convince people to not accept and buy into this anymore. What's the point of your point? We know it's people are celebrating the bad guy. It's not, hey, he's in case you guys haven't woke up yet, he's the bad guy. No. They're like, we like the bad guy. That's what it is. It's just what it is. So when they watch that $1 million and then get handed out to the college Republican's head, and those other people are like, oh man, I wish I could have got my $1 million. They don't stop and go, yeah, this is rigged, huh? Mm-hmm. They carry right on along because again, you can tell people, those are the bad guys. But if you tell the bad guys that they're the bad guys, they go, I know. Now get off my back.
You don't need to try to convince me that no matter how good of an argument I might make, it generally doesn't matter.
And now
I've learned that.
I hate. No, I won't say it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's things that come after trying to identify who the bad guy is versus doing something about the bad guys.
I totally agree. Look, most people are just gonna be happy to see this. They don't, again, like to your earlier point, they don't want democracy. They want the world's richest man to buy every victory for them. I think it's pathetic, it's anti-democratic, I think it's deeply un-American, but that's how a lot of people are. And I'm gonna have something to say about that. I wanna tee up one more aspect of this, and then I'll get to my real conclusion though. Elon Musk, during his bid to buy the Wisconsin Supreme Court, claims that he is super concerned about a tactic that the Democrats might use if they win this election. Take a look.
The Democrats are trying to redraw the districts in Wisconsin. And we're trying to stop the Democrats from gerrymandering Wisconsin to remove 2 House seats. That's what this whole Supreme Court justice case is about.
Okay, it took him a really long time to make that incredibly simple point, but he eventually got there. So he's buying the Wisconsin Supreme Court race to stop the Wisconsin Supreme Court from okaying gerrymandering from those dishonest, deceptive, anti-democratic Democrats that would steal 2 seats in Congress that are possessed by Republicans and owed to Republicans. Because what we have right now in Wisconsin is fair and above board. But if the Democrats win, it'll be undemocratic and unfair. Can you guess where this is going? Because I got a tickle in my brain and I was like, wait a second. I think I remember something about gerrymandering in Wisconsin in the past, not in the future. And so I did some Googling and I found that, yes, Donald Trump did win in Wisconsin in 2024. He won a dominating, crushing victory of 0.8% more than Kamala Harris. 0.8%. That's about as 50-50 a state as it is physically possible to get. 50-50. And so obviously the state's congressional delegation looks like this. Hey, wait, that's not right. 50-50 state, 6 out of 8 of the seats are held by Republicans. So in Elon Musk's nightmare apocalyptic scenario, the Democrats would come in and instead of it being 6-8, it would be 4-8, which would be fair in every sense of the word. It's a 50-50 state, it would have a 50-50 delegation. But obviously, Elon Musk is flipping reality on its head and implying that a fair democratic outcome should terrify you to your very bones. And so, JR, you made the point earlier in the show, just pointing this out doesn't really matter because the Republicans don't care. They do want Republicans to gerrymandering, while not wanting Democrats to do it. They do want billionaires to buy the election if Republicans earn it. And I have pointed that out in the past as I have stood on the higher path. No more No more. Johnny Damage can't even get up there anymore, okay? His head hurts too much. I don't know if there's any billionaires on our side. There probably aren't. But if there are, buy every one of these elections. Hold lotteries like this in every single state. Hand over checks, $1 million checks, $20 checks, whatever. And to the Democrats in state legislatures around the country, gerrymander every state to within a micron of its life. Do it and twist it and manipulate it and steal every seat in Congress that you can until finally they say uncle, until finally they are crying and pleading for you to stop. And then we can pass a law, a couple of laws to ban billionaires from buying elections and to ban gerrymandering like this, to make it independent, as multiple states have already proven is easily done. But until we get to that, until they have finally submitted, crawling towards us, asking, please stop doing this, buy it all, gerrymander it all, steal it all, do whatever you gotta do, because that is apparently the only way to get through to these people.
John,
What do you think?
I agree. I know we're gonna break, but I agree. It takes maybe my extreme negativity, but I'm glad you're finally on it. They don't care until they feel it on their side. So, ayo, do all the illegal things, and then they'll complain, and then you go, you mean like you've been doing? You mean like what you've been doing? You mean like what you've been doing? Because they'll continue to say, we're this like very innocent group of people who's just doing a bunch of illegal things and saying that it's illegal. So until they actually care about it, they're calling you gerrymanderers and they're calling you stolen election people already. You might as well start doing it.
Yep. Yeah, most people don't know that Johnny Damage isn't actually the full name. It's Johnny G Damage, and the G stands for gerrymanderer. And I that's a badge of honor, because we're gonna gerrymander. Can I get a chant from sea to shining sea? Okay, because that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna be like Taskmaster, okay, in the MCU. We're gonna see every move you make, and we're gonna use it against you, okay?